This painting is based on one of my beach day trips in New South Wales, near Sydney. It was one of those days when the sky felt too wide and everything seemed quiet. The kind of quiet that feels heavy and calm at the same time. I remember sitting near the water, thinking about how small things affect how we see life, and how easily we slip into negativity without realizing it. Recently, I've been noticing how common it's become for people, including myself sometimes, to complain about everything, our jobs, relationships, even the weather. And not just complaining out loud, but the subtle way we justify our unhappiness through things around us. It's almost automatic. We blame external situations instead of asking what we are feeding inside our minds every day. I had a friend. We've known each other since university. She's a genuinely good person, thoughtful, creative, and warm. But she was also always tired, always exhausted, and always upset about something. It could be a rude cashier, her parents, her boyfriend, or just how the day turned out. Whenever we met, the first 10 minutes were always filled with the complaints, and I used to listen. I thought that's what a good friend should do. Over time, I started realizing that her energy stayed in that space permanently. Even when something good happened, it was followed by another frustration. She would laugh for a second, then sigh and say something like, "But you know what's annoying?" And the cycle would start again. I don't think she ever meant to bring others down. It was just how she lived, reacting from emotion to emotion. We moved to cities twice in similar time frames, purely by coincidence, so our lives kept overlapping. We shared memories, walking late at night, studying at cafes, talking about life and art and our dreams. Those moments were real and precious. But as we both grew older, I noticed how my energy would drop after seeing her. At first, I thought it was just me being too sensitive, but eventually I realized I was protecting my peace. I stopped meeting her as often. I didn't make a dramatic decision. I just quietly stepped away. It took me years to understand that positivity isn't pretending to be happy. It's choosing how to respond. It's not that I'm an endlessly positive person. I'm not. I have my lows too. But I trained myself to stay balanced, to stay grounded, to stay somewhere in the middle, rather than swinging from one extreme to another. I think that's because I spent a decade in professional environments where emotional stability was essential. You can't survive in high-pressure workplaces if you let every small thing shake you. So I practiced emotional control like a muscle. Even when I was exhausted, I learned to find small moments of gratitude. Even when something went wrong, I forced myself to look for a lesson rather than someone to blame. Throughout my 20s, I almost manipulated myself into positivity. It wasn't always genuine, but it was necessary. Sometimes, pretending to be okay is how you actually become okay. It's like smiling when you don't feel like it. At first it feels fake, but then something inside you starts to soften. I remember nights when I hadn't slept for 3 days because of deadlines. My body was shaking from caffeine, my brain was numb, and still I'd tell myself, this is temporary, this is progress. It wasn't about ignoring the exhaustion, it was about reminding myself that pain is not permanent. That frustration isn't the whole picture. Over time, I noticed the difference between people who stayed positive and people who didn't. It wasn't about luck or success, it was about energy. The ones who stayed hopeful seemed lighter, like they were walking with the wind instead of against it. While the ones who complained even when things went well always seemed stuck in a loop of dissatisfaction. Life doesn't give us perfect circumstances. Everyone is tired, everyone is busy, everyone has problems. But if we can find the beauty or calmness even in small moments, like a quiet beach, a nice meal, or a morning breeze, it slowly changes the entire tone of our life. Positivity isn't a mood, it's a discipline. That friend and I eventually lost touch. I thought it was just because of our schedules, but looking back, it was something deeper. I needed distance from that constant emotional turbulence. It wasn't about being superior or cold. I just couldn't handle living inside someone else's storm anymore. Sometimes, when I scroll through old photos, I see us smiling. We looked genuinely happy, and those moments were real. I don't regret any of it, but I also understand now that not all connections are meant to last forever. Some friendships belong to a specific chapter of your life, and when that chapter ends, it's okay to let it close. I grieve the friendship we had, and I'm thankful for what it taught me. She reminded me what happens when emotions go unchecked and how energy spreads between people. Being around her helped me understand myself better, to see how I wanted to live, who I wanted to be, and what kind of energy I wanted to carry. Sometimes we think positivity means pretending everything's fine, but real positivity is quiet. It's a calm that comes from knowing life will always shift, that people change, and that nothing stays forever. Not sadness, not joy, not even relationships. It's about finding meaning in the middle of it all without blaming anyone or anything. So when life punches you in the face, which it always will, I'll remind myself to smile. Not because I'm ignoring the pain, but because I know it won't last. I've seen people lose everything and still find peace. I've seen others have everything and still complain. The difference is in how we train our minds. Being positive doesn't mean everything around you is perfect. It means you stop letting the imperfect things control you. When I painted this piece, I thought about that friend, about the sea breeze that day, and about how easy it is to sink into negativity if you stop noticing the light. There's always a small light, even in dark water. You just have to keep your eyes open long enough to see it. So wherever she is now, I genuinely wish her happiness. I hope she finds peace, learns to smile again, and stops carrying the weight of every small frustration. And as for me, I'm still learning too, to stay in balance, to stay kind, and to keep finding the bright side, no matter how small it is. Life will never be perfect, but if we can stay hopeful, stay grateful, and stay light, then maybe that's what real positivity looks like. So yeah, that was today's thought.